Every day, we are learning more about our changing world. Every day, ideas are born, challenges become opportunities. To achieve our purpose, we need people who can turn ideas into reality, who can create success. That's us at ABB. Thinkers, engineers, scientists, innovators. We push the boundaries of technology to make industry safer, more intelligent, and more productive.
Good morning and good evening, wherever you may be. My name is Duncan Harris, and I am the President of the Australia-Africa Chamber of Commerce. I am, on behalf of IMARC and the AACC, delighted to welcome you to an interview with Fortune Mojapelo, the CEO of Bushveld Minerals. Bushveld Minerals, based in South Africa, is a low-cost, vertically integrated primary vanadium producer. It's one of only 3 operating primary vanadium producers, owning 2 of the world's 4 operating primary vanadium processing facilities. It also owns a diversified vanadium product portfolio servicing the needs of the steel, energy, and chemical sectors. Bushveld participates in the entire vanadium value chain through its 2 main pillars: Bushveld Vanadium, which mines and processes vanadium, and Bushveld Energy, an energy storage component manufacturer and project developer focused on vanadium-based energy storage systems called vanadium redox flow batteries. The company is listed on AIM on the London Stock Exchange. The Bushveld story and its success has been driven by the vision and drive of the CEO, Fortune Mojapelo. Fortune is a classic mining entrepreneur. He's played a leading role in the origination, establishment, and project development of several junior mining companies in Africa. He has a BSc in actuarial science and previously worked at McKinsey, where he worked on corporate strategy and organizational development, experiences he's since put to great use at Bushveld Minerals. Fortune, I welcome you to IMARC Online. May I, in the first instance, ask you to provide us with an overview of your company and an update on its development.
Duncan, thank you very much for having me today, and I'm very delighted to talk about Bushveld Minerals. So, as you said quite a lot about the company already, so thank you for that superb introduction. As indicated, as you mentioned, we are listed on AIM with a market cap of about 140 million pounds and $184 million. We have been on AIM since 2012. Because we are focused on vanadium, our share prices tended to correlate very strongly with the vanadium price, as you can see on that chart on the right. We started life as a junior mining company, and as many junior mining companies will attest, with a very strong retail shareholder base. Something as we have grown, we have sought to balance out with the introduction of more institutions. So I've been delighted to see interest from institutions starting to come into the company. We have coverage from the following analysts: Peel Hunt, BMO, and SP Angel. And they also are our brokers. So if you want to read more about the company, you can read it there. To the structure and the focus of the company, we talk about Bushveld being a vertically integrated, low-cost primary vanadium platform. It's a bit of a mouthful, but every one of those words has got significance. Vertical integration basically talks to the fact that we don't only mine and produce a concentrate, we also process the ore to a number of vanadium products, which we sell to the steel market, to the chemicals, and to the energy industry. We have taken a decision as a company to go beyond that and launch an energy platform which is focused on driving the adoption of vanadium redox flow batteries, because we think that VRFBs, as they are called, are a potential game changer for the demand profile of the commodity. But we also know that the hurdles for VRFB adoption are the kind of hurdles that we as a primary producer are best placed to unlock. and to exploit the opportunity associated with that. And hence we set the business up as shown on the screen with mining assets, 3 deposits, very high grade, combining 550 million ton resource base, grading between 1.6 and 2% V2O5, which is certainly tier 1 type of vanadium grades. Also important to highlight that these deposits are located in close proximity to logistics infrastructure that link them with processing facilities. As you indicated, we got 2 of the world's 4 operating primary vanadium production facilities. There's a reason there is only 4, and those 4 are located between South Africa, which has got 3, and Brazil. It's really a function of where you find the kind of grade that will allow you to build primary processing facilities. We're happy that we own 2 of those 4, and which gives us a really solid platform to grow our production from a level of about 2,900 last year, which was just under 3% of the global market, to about 8,400 tons over the next 3 to 5 years as we undertake capital expansions and refurbishment programs. The reason for that aggressive growth in our production is because we believe that the vanadium market is a growing market, notwithstanding where the prices are today. And we also believe that the energy storage market is going to require a lot of vanadium going forward, in terms of which we are very close to that through Bushveld Energy, and we can see the developments there. 3 key activities: electrolyte manufacturing, and sales, but we also have developed a very innovative rental construct, which allows us to rent the electrolyte into these large-scale batteries, something which we think is going to be a real strong catalyst for adoption of VRFBs. We also are very involved in developing projects for renewable and storage, particularly, again, driving the business case and the proposition for vanadium redox flow batteries. And the final piece is the manufacturing of the VRFBs. Unlike many other battery types, we're very excited, delighted that with VRFBs, you can build scale very quickly. You don't need a gigawatt hour or you don't need a gigawatt factory to have the business case for these batteries, right? At 20, 30 megawatt scale, you've got enough business case to build a facility for manufacturing this. What is really critical is that these operations and these manufacturers build scale, and they need to build that scale very, very quickly because the opportunities are growing very, very fast. So we took the view that we will be a catalyst working with these battery companies to source the kind of capital that they need to scale up their production to meet this growing demand. So that's the full spectrum of our involvement. And we think that you'll be hard pressed to find any company that is this level of vertical integration in the vanadium market. The assets I'm not going to spend time talking to, they are located on the Bushveld complex, which we call the Pilbara of vanadium, because of the sheer scale and grade of vanadium resources that it has. And you can see the logistics infrastructure that links the deposits with the processing facilities. The last point I'm going to make before I pause, Duncan, is the incredible flexibility and integration of our asset base. Vametco, which is located in Brits, as you could see in this chart, and Vanchem, which is located near Witbank. These 2 facilities have a lot of complementarities in the sense that we mine ore at Vametco, which we process at Vametco to produce Nitrovan, AMV, as well as MV ore. But we also are able in time to take concentrate from Vametco and process it at Vanchem. And Vanchem sources ore from multiple parties, and it will in time also source ore from our Mojapelo deposit, which is one of our 3 deposits that we have. We are able to move material between these facilities to make sure that the product mix that we're producing is the one that is most suitable for the market at any point in time. And hence we have this broad vanadium products that we produce and supply into the market, which again, I think I would say is a unique feature of our platform.
Well, Fortune, given your very rapid growth, very relatively rapid growth, what financing requirements do you have that's going to meet your ongoing ambitions?
Look, yes, the financing requirements are significant. At Vametco, we are looking to increase production there to about 4,200 through a capacity expansion plan. That will cost just up above $20 million to achieve that. And at Vanchem, which we acquired in November, we're looking at a refurbishment plan and expansion plan that will bring all 3 kilns operating. We're currently using only one into full production, again, targeting about 4,200 tons of production. To do that, we have estimated a capital expenditure in the order of $45 million. These are not small numbers, but compared with the cost of building processing facilities that produce the kind of quantum we're talking about, just to give you perspective, our Mokopane project, we did a PFS study on it, and that project would require $300 million to build a mine and a processing plant. To get to a point where you're producing 8,400 tons on a greenfield basis, you're talking capital that is quite substantial. By some estimate, you're talking in excess of $700 million potentially. So for us, the whole idea of brownfield assets was about finding projects and assets that are in production and that we can scale up. And as we scale them up, they are generating cash. We can do it so we can get to those cash flows much quicker. And certainly the capital expenditure is far, far less than it would cost to do on a greenfield basis.
Given the transition that you've made from a development company to a producer, it does nonetheless bring about the need for a review of board and management composition. What challenges is that bringing to you at this time?
You make a good point. I think we started life as a developer exploration, and with the acquisition of Vametco, we grew our staff, our employee base from under 30 to more than 500 almost overnight. With the addition of Vanchem, we've added an additional 150. So today our full headcount is in the order of 750 employees. And that kind of growth, yes, it does place quite a significant amount of demands on a company in terms of its operating model, in terms of how it is set up, in terms of the kind of leadership it requires, as well as its board composition. And we've been very, I think, careful to do that in a measured way. So to date, you will notice, for example, there's been 2 additional appointments to our board, Michael Kirkwood and Dolly Mokhatle, very seasoned senior individuals with a lot of experience in the industry, in the capital markets. And they definitely are adding quite a lot of value already to our board. There's an ongoing, obviously, process for us to ensure that our board is aligned and is best fit for what we're trying to do and where we're going. And I think one can expect that as we continue to grow, you'll continue to see that board evolve. And similarly, in terms of our management team, we have grown to a place where today we have quite a complete executive team. We've brought in a finance director recently who comes with a lot of good experience in the mining industry, and operationally as well. We bring in more resources there. So if you look at our annual reports from the previous years to where we are today, you will definitely see that there's been quite a significant growth to our management team. I'm very proud that our executive team is a diverse one, very, very competent, and also I think combines a very good deal of mix between youth and gray hairs, and which I think bodes very well for where we're going.
Well, you had a very good interim report in September for your financials, though there was an influence of COVID there. But my question I wanted to go to was, with the developments you're doing, what mining methods or operational improvements do you see? Because that's one of the things you can control, isn't it? Your operating costs.
You are right. I'm going to show you what our operations look like. This is Vametco. It's a simple open pit mine, as you can tell, on the left hand there, So yes, COVID affected everybody, us included, but I'm very, again, pleased that we reacted very, very early, put in place the necessary protocols to ensure that our workers are safe, and we have been able to ride through that storm, I think, relatively well. Yes, we lost some production volumes on account of uh, the, um, um, the lockdown measures that were put in place. But in terms of how we operate, we've had to only do tweaks to our shift system, for example, to ensure that we've got maximum flexibility. But we are operating. We don't have any active COVID cases at our mine at the moment, and we certainly are pushing as hard as we can.
In this world we live in of shareholder activism, there is the rise of the recognition of ESG. It's the issue of shareholder returns as against stakeholder returns. How is that being addressed?
So ESG talks to a number of elements. I have to say, I think at the core, what we're very fortunate with Vanadium is we've got one of the as far as metals are concerned, one of the greenest metals you will find. And I will explain why we say that. Firstly, in terms of the way vanadium is used in the steel making, if you add 0.2% of vanadium to a ton of steel, you double its tensile strength. And so where you see standards in China being adopted to try and drive out poor quality, low grade rebars and replace them with higher quality rebars, one of the impact of that is you use less tons of steel when you are building with, say, grade 4 rebar than you would do with grade 2 rebar. The impact of that obviously is significant in terms of emissions reduction, right? From the steelmaking side. There's some work that is currently being done within the Vanadium Producers Association, Vanitec, to actually measure what that looks like. And it's very encouraging to see, for example, that markets like China can significantly improve their carbon footprint on account of this adoption of higher quality rebars. So that's one way in which vanadium contributes already to a reduction of carbon footprint. The second way that vanadium does this, obviously, is through the energy storage applications of vanadium through redox flow batteries. These are long life systems which can last for 20 years. The electrolyte sits in tanks which are stationary, and at the end of that life of the battery, the electrolyte does not degrade. So we can use it in another battery. And importantly, we can also take that electrolyte to our facilities at Vametco or Duncan and convert it there to produce ferrovanadium or nitrovan or vanadium pentoxide. That's important because what it does speak to is the whole circularity of vanadium. We like to think that because of those characteristics I've described, vanadium potentially is one of the larger contributors, in our view, to the circular economy in the mining space.
Unfortunately, one of the things you've not mentioned is the recognition of vanadium as a critical mineral. And in the world of geopolitics today, that's becoming consequential, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, we've seen the US declare, name vanadium as one of its critical minerals. We've seen Europe do the same thing. Now, it's quite important because, again, of its value within the steel value chain, as well as within the energy storage. Interestingly, when we talk energy storage, right, it is forecast that we will see a 122-fold increase in cumulative stationary energy storage deployments over the next 20 years. From about 17 gigawatt hours to 2,850 gigawatt hours. Now that's huge. That estimate is from Bloomberg New Energy Finance, and there are different technologies that are going to play in that. But what's important to highlight is that the biggest share of these stationary deployments are going to be long duration energy storage systems. And it is a space in which vanadium flow batteries are particularly distinctive. And so I think the whole declarations of vanadium as a critical metal in these jurisdictions is almost inevitable. They have to now figure out how to solve for securing that supply And again, this is where I think being located in South Africa is very, very important, because if you look at the supply of vanadium, it's very concentrated. You have China and Russia accounting for about 70% on the back of co-production facilities that they produce steel and vanadium slag. In today's world, those facilities are running at near full capacity. So their ability to produce a lot more vanadium going forward is incredibly constrained. Not to mention the fact that when iron ore prices come off, as they will in time, we will see even more incentive to blend their feedstocks with hematite, or which may well reduce actually the amount of vanadium slag that is produced there. So you have to ask the question, if you are not going to get that additional vanadium from co-producers, where else are you going to get it? And we think it lies with primary producers. And primary producers, you have to go, in our view, where the grade is, and that is the Bushveld complex.
Fortune, I know that we're just about out of time. I just want to say thank you very much for making yourself available. One of the things I'd direct everyone in looking at your website is to see one thing which I think is a great line. It says, we want to have every employee to begin each day with a sense of purpose and to end the day with a sense of accomplishment. And I think in many ways that must resonate throughout your company. It's been a great story. It's actually something that I've looked at and admired for some time. And I thank you very much for making yourself available to this special session for IMARC Online.
Duncan, thank you very much. And just my closing remark is just to highlight that for a company that started life as an early exploration company, and I'll be remiss not to mention three very important individuals in this respect: Professor Morris and Richard Fillion, who are doyens of geology in South Africa, and Anthony Fillion, a business partner of mine. What started off those many years ago as four people just looking to see how we can find the next new deposits that we can build significant mines from has grown into something quite significant like this, which still has a lot of growth ahead of it. So, you know, something that I'm always indebted to and I'm appreciative of. And I think quite like the idea of that story of projects and companies that are birthed from development to significant producers playing an important role in the global market. And we certainly hope to see a lot more of these types of companies emerge going forward.
Thank you once again.
Thank you for your time.